Hey Jelly Beans, thanks for tuning in. I felt a little artsy and decided to create this wine label canvas piece. If you're new, thanks for coming. Please like and subscribe, and if you're old, welcome back. Alright, so for this project you're going to need a couple things. First and foremost being your wine bottle. So I have an assorted array. Some of them aren't wine, but basically you need the labels. A canvas that is big enough and or small enough for all your labels. To mix the Mod Podge or glue, you'll need the actual adhesive, a mixing brush, something to mix it in, and then you'll be adding water to that. And then to get the actual labels off, we're going to use vinegar, baking powder, dish soap, and very hot water. Make sure you have more bottles than you'll need because some of the labels may be more stubborn based on the paper material. So basically I took the easiest method that I found on Pinterest, and essentially we're going to make a hot water bath. While filling up the sink with hot water, I took my pot off the stove and poured it into the bottles to just above about the top of the label. This melts the adhesive from the inside. We then place the filled bottles into the sink to soften the paper, and depending on the label material, you can simply pour hot water into the bottle and wait about 15 minutes to start peeling. As you can see, I did on this one, but for the rest, we're going to have to make the vinegar, soap, and baking powder mixture. So for the mixture, you're going to need to pour a half a cup of baking powder, 2 cups of vinegar, and 1 tablespoon of dish soap into the sink. Now I would recommend using a stronger vinegar. I only had rice vinegar in my cabinet, but I would definitely recommend like white vinegar or something else a little stronger because you want to get those bubbles. So be sure to pour those ingredients in there and then kind of stir it around. Make sure everything's good and mixed together, and then let it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes. And just a tip, make sure that the water in the sink rises above all the labels on the bottles. So next we are going to finally start peeling the labels off. As you can see for this one, I tried to start it with a knife and then kind of peel it with my fingers, but that wasn't a perfect example of just the paper being way too thin. I kept trying later, but that one just didn't work out. But as you can see, the next one, the paper was a little thicker, and so it was able to peel off without tearing, and you kind of just want to ease it off. So that one just ended up coming out perfectly, and I was really happy about it. And then I decided to do the back labels too. You can just do whatever, front, back, both. But yeah, and then you just set the bottle to the side and move on to the next one. Like I said, this one was just too thin. As you can tell that it's just not gonna come up without tearing. So that bottle was a no. And like I said, have more bottles than you need. Next, I positioned the labels where I wanted them, just to kind of get a feel for how much space I had and, you know, just where I wanted what to go. I tried to space mine out to where the top and bottoms weren't near each other. Also, I wanted different colors in different places, but feel free to make it however you would like. So the next step is the Mod Podge part of it. It's kind of like the paper mache method where you put a layer of glue and then you place something. So for my glue mixture, I didn't do any specific measurements. It's just however much glue to water to get it to the consistency that I wanted it to be. But after doing that, I took my paintbrush and kind of just lifted up the label and then put glue under it and then placed it back. Then I'll go back and do the corners and everything. Like I said, it's the paper mache method, so I put glue over all the labels, kind of like a layer, just so anything wasn't sticking up. To lay everything down so it would dry, make sure you use something that will not stick to the glue as it dries. So I would recommend no paper materials and using like glass or plastic. I went back, as you can see, some of the corners kind of still lifted up. And then I just used a hot glue gun to get those down and around the corners of the canvas where it sticks up on the edge. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and please let me know in the comments if you have any questions.